His work is all reading as a must-see material for a good reason. Do the Right Thing, School Days, Mo Better Blues, Usual Suspects, playing Jorge in the Maze Runner film series, and of course in Breaking Bad, Better Call Saul as Gustavo Gus Fring. Welcome back to the show from Better Call Saul that you can catch Monday nights right now on AMC in Season 4. Giancarlo Esposito, good to see you, sir.
Great to be here.
It is for us Breaking Bad fans, and I will speak on behalf of the millions. I don't care. I'll do it. Am I allowed to? Am I allowed to?
You're
do that?
allowed.
Okay. Am I allowed to do that?
I'm telling you that you are allowed.
It is a blessing. It is like eating cotton candy, watching you back again as a real SOB, nasty, nasty individual. What is it like for you to have this opportunity here?
You know, it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to not only be excited about a show, but then to look at it in a different way. As Gustavo Fring in Breaking Bad, I had one mindset of a guy who really takes control, but who's affable and lovely and nice. You see him in many different incarnations in Los Pollos Hermanos. Also, you see him behind the scenes cultivating his network. In Better Call Saul, you see a younger version of him, someone less careful, a little more edgy, someone who is bound to possibly make a mistake, but someone who's building up their empire. And so I love being able to find the nuance in this new version of Gustavo Fring, and I think the audience will be excited to see it as well.
Well, I mean, we just showed a scene, radio audience, from Season 4 just a couple of weeks ago, where you tell a character, Nacho, who thinks that he's about to maybe finally get out of this life of crime and get through it, that you watched him try that and attempt that. I don't want to tell too much, but you now own him, and you deliver the line of "You are mine." When you see that on the page, what do you think?
I think I have to go to a very calm and dark place to tell another human being that I own them. It is a little bit frightening to read on the page, but as I divorce myself from my emotional feelings and fall into that very cool and cold place to be able to deliver that message, I feel powerful. It feels good.
How many takes did it take you to do that?
One.
Get out of here.
On that night, there was some undue tension on the set. I'll leave it right there. Ooh. So I decided to get even a little more brutal and a little more ruthless by divorcing myself, taking myself away, distracting my energy from the other actors for a reason, because I wanted to be able to give it all when the camera rolled. So folks got a little bit frightened and asked me what was wrong, what was wrong, what was wrong. And I said, we're not going to talk about it now. I'll show it all when the camera rolls. We have a really wonderful group of actors on this show. Everyone works in a very different way and have different expectations about how they do a scene. And sometimes we agree and sometimes we don't. And it's when we don't agree and we agree not to agree that sometimes the magic happens.
So that's what happened on the set that night?
That's what happened on the set that night. It was late, it was cold, wind was blowing through this the tin corrugated garage. There was a little irritation. It was just a little bit off, and I decided to use that energy and project it onto my scene partner in a very different way than he had ever experienced. We both came to find out in those moments that we got one of the best scenes ever, which was really wonderful.
I agree with you, man. I mean, and now you could see from the Breaking Bad community and the Better Call Saul community that they felt the same way about that scene. And so when you nail the line, you stick the landing, to use the sports phrase.
Stick the landing always.
Okay.
Hit the home run.
I know that.
Hit it out of the park.
So when did nobody dare say, let's try that one more time?
Well, we had a director who was an interesting guy, but I think he was a little bit frightened or cowed by this particular cast. So he was very kind and very nice, and actors like to be sometimes dealt with in a different way. So I think he just looked at my face and knew that was it. You know?
You had one take in you.
You know, that's it. You know, we don't need to do any more. That's the answer.
So after it was over, did any of your cast members come up to you and say, are we good now? Or they asked you, are you okay then, or what?
They did. You know, I think there were hugs all around because they realized, for me, you know, I play my roles very much like a method actor in television because there's no time. There's no time. And for me to be chit-chatting in the corner and then come and do a scene, I don't feel like I really have the oomph and don't bring the past history of what's happening through my being and through my eyes and through my voice. So I stay quiet so I can nail it.
You can nail it. Giancarlo Esposito here in the Rich Eisen Show. Is there anyone that you've worked with previously or maybe early on in your career who had the similar style of acting that was tough for you to get used to on the set where you were the one asking, is everything okay?
Well, no one really comes to mind,
Okay.
to be honest with you. I did do a play with Delroy Lindo, and I noticed he had the same rhythm that I did.
Okay.
He got to the theater at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we don't even go on till 8. So a lot of preparation went into his mindset of what he was about to do. James Earl Jones is another actor who I found could zip in and out of being jolly, but on certain nights he would come in and speak to no one and just have his intention in the forefront of his brain. And boy, is he an absolutely marvelous actor.
Sure. And then the voice comes out as Darth Vader, and then you're really scared.
That you really,
I know.
Puts it all together.
It's interesting. So it's like we talk all the time in sports about quarterbacks. You need to be the first in, last one out. Is that the same thing in actors that you would?
That's how I feel. You know, I linked up acting with sports through Spike. Spike is the ultimate coach. And I started to think about that. You know, how do you feel when you get? I mean, I was a baseball player myself when I was young, little league. You know, I always had a certain real gusto for the game because it is like being a gladiator, going into that forum, that coliseum. So for me, it's what you think is the projection of what will become. And it's almost coordinating that eye-hand coordination that you have to have when you're swinging the bat. It's that it's a music, it's a rhythm, and that for me, acting is that way.
It's interesting that you say that in terms of also Spike Lee, also because when you hear the phrase also in sports, speak it into existence. When there are players, athletes, he or she says something out loud, and you feel it's brash maybe, but they have to believe it before they actually accomplish it.
Absolutely, you have to really feel like inside that it's going to happen, and think when you're at the plate and you're 2 strikes down. You know, it's hard not to feel defeated, but much better a vision to see that ball going out of the park.
Who was your guy growing up, or gal growing up that you?
Sidney Poitier. What a wonderful actor he is. I got a chance to meet him a few years ago. He was someone that really affected my whole life and my whole consciousness in regard to who I was as a man, as a human being. Forget race or color, because he transcended all of that. He became, a human being, and for me, one of my greatest idols.
What about athlete?
My athletes, man. Well, I think we're going to get to baseball, so I hate to sort of give it away. But...
Okay, no, let's take a 60-second break. Come back, do that when we come back, and we've got some great facts from your career that we're going to play Celebrity True or False. We always have fun doing that with our guests. Giancarlo Esposito here on The Rich Eisen Show, at Quiet Hand Films on Twitter. To follow him, Better Call Saul can be seen every Monday night on AMC at 9 Eastern Time. Back with Giancarlo Esposito in 60 seconds. All right, welcome back to the Rich Eisen Show. Another segment here with Giancarlo Esposito of Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad. All right, now who are you were born in Europe, correct?
Born in Europe, born in Copenhagen, Denmark, raised in Rome, Italy, came to New York and became a huge Yankee fan in my day. And during those formative years for the Yankees, they seem like they've always been on top and have such a great record. But yeah, I lived in New York for a long time.
So are you fluent in Italian?
Yeah, I wish.
You wish? Because, it's funny because John Sterling, the longtime voice of the Yankees, is using an Italian phrase for a home run call every time Giancarlo Stanton hits a home run, even though his real first name is John and he's from the Valley here in Los Angeles.
I love. Is his name really Giancarlo?
Is it Mike Stanton?
Yeah, Mike Stanton.
Mike Stanton. And he was going. When did he change his name to Giancarlo?
A few years ago. I'm not sure.
Come on, that was his choice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I love it. No wonder he never answered me when the guys caught me outside of L.A. and they asked me, who's the other great Giancarlo? Who? I said, I want to go and be at a game with him. So I'm still going to shout it out, Giancarlo. I got to get there. We got to get together here.
I know. And it's amazing. Yankees have the second best record in baseball, and I wouldn't say panic mode, but when you're looking up, the Red Sox are 50 above 500. The Yankees are 9 games out. Just like it's kind of just like because we were talking off camera too. 40 years ago was the Bucky Dent home run when the Yankees came from almost as far back, you know?
That's right. What a terrific time that was, 1978. I think they're the only team that won in a tiebreaker to this day.
Right.
But you had, I guess we had Bucky Dent with that home run, which was a 3-run homer, pretty incredible. But Ron Guidry on the mound, wow.
That's right.
You know, Ron Guidry, the ball looked like it was coming out of his glove in slow-mo, and you know, and then all of a sudden it would catch up, and he didn't pitch as hard as other pitchers, but he had the control. And then, of course, he gives it up to Goose Gossage, who it was one of my favorite closers ever.
That's right. That famed phrase, because Sparky Lyle the year before was Cy Young, and then when Goose Gossage came, the famous line was that Lyle went from Cy Young to Sayonara.
Sayonara.
It's one of the all-time great lines.
Torres on that team as well?
Torres was on the Yankee team in '78. Yep. When and then he was on the Red Sox before that.
Wow.
It is truly remarkable. I know you don't want to talk about it. You want to talk about the 50 over 500
Oh, that's right. He's a Red Sox fan.
He is, yeah. From last time.
Yeah, well, you know, we love you.
Thank you.
Be happy right now.
I am
because
happy
the Yankees are going to catch
right
up.
now.
But Giancarlo is your given name, correct?
Giancarlo is my given name. Yes,
Okay.
it is.
And then is it true your middle name is Mike? As well?
No.
No?
You want to know my...
What is your
I'll say
full
it
name?
all for you.
Okay, what is it?
Giancarlo Giuseppe Alessandro Esposito. Piacere. Oh, I get a little hand clap. I
Yes,
love it.
indeed. Yes, indeed. Fantastic. So who was your player growing up then? Who was your player growing up?
You know, I loved runners. You know, I love this guy, Dave Waddle. You know,
How about that?
It was I'm a real running enthusiast and have been for a long time. But you know, Dave Winfield was one of my favorite Yankees. You know, he always came through. You know, these are you're taking me back now.
Sure, Reggie.
Reggie was pretty fantastic as well.
The straw that stirs the drink.
Yeah, wow.
I know. That's what that was crazy times back in the 70s. So is it true that there are pop-up Pollos Hermanos stores in Los Angeles and New York this week? Are you aware of that?
Oh, yes, I am aware of that. We did one down in Austin.
Okay.
They bring in the trucks with the 4 walls and the roof, and they're serving my curly fries. So you have to get there to have some.
Do you show up in the gear?
I have showed up. Well, I show up in this gear, you know.
This gear? No, you're not dressed in the.
No, I didn't dress in De Pollos yellow because I wanted to be more Gustavo as opposed to the manager of the restaurant or the owner of the restaurant. But we have a great time doing these around the country. Started with South by Southwest last year, and I was really amazed. I mean, you could live and eat off the floor in my restaurant, but that's the way it should be.
You only know one speed, as they say.
Only know one speed.
So
clean.
Do people like see you and think that you are in fact Gustavo? Frank?
Without a doubt. This happens so much of the time. People, many don't know my name, and it's just, and Gus is easier than Giancarlo. So it's very interesting. When they see me break a smile or become a little bit animated, then they're disarmed to a certain extent. But otherwise, people give space, and I like that when they give me a little room.
All right. Well, I want to play Celebrity True or False with you if you don't mind indulging me here. Okay, Giancarlo, I wish I could say your whole full name. Esposito here on The Rich Eisen Show. Go for it.
Celebrity True.
Keeping it real.
Or false.
First up, Celebrity True or False. You, Giancarlo Esposito, were one of the chorus of children who sang the theme song of the Electric Company.
True. We're going to turn it on. We're going to bring you the power.
What?
Yes.
How did that happen? What?
I got a chance to go for an audition for that. And I was also auditioning for Sesame Street at the same time. They said, you're not going to get this, but we're doing a spinoff on the Electric Company. We want you to sing the song in the studio and make some guest appearances.
So they said to you, how old were you?
Oh, my goodness. I was like 9 years old.
So they said to you, 9 years old, hey, look, we can't put you on the street, but we got the company for you.
That's right.
You got the Electric Company, but we can't fit you on Sesame Street.
Couldn't fit me on Sesame Street. Morgan Freeman had done that early on. And
he was Easy Reader.
He was Easy Reader. Wow, where we come from.
Oh, yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Oh, yeah. I remember him as Easy Reader.
Yeah.
I could do that song off the top of my head, too. So that's, wow, unbelievable. Next one. Originally, Hector Salamanca of Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul was supposed to be the main antagonist, but Vince Gilligan expanded your role as Gus Fring and made you the bad guy instead. Is that true?
False. False, from what I understand. Unless there's something I don't know. I do love Hector Salamanca. Well, I hate him. I love Mark Margolis, who plays him. We did a play 30 years ago called Bomb and Gilead in New York with John Malkovich and Gary Sinise, plethora of other really wonderful actors. But one of my favorites to work with on this particular show and returning again here in Better Call Saul is Mark Margolis. Just a seasoned, wonderful, amazing actor.
Interesting. So did you know when you first took the role of Gustavo Fring that it would be as long, the arc would last as long as it did?
Are you kidding me, man? I was in and out. Guest spot. I was just so tired of guest spots. I had done so many of them. Wanted to have the opportunity to do an extended role. And so I did it because I looked at it. I said, send it to me. I turned them down a few times. They sent it to me. I love what was happening. So I expected to go in and do a guest episode and be out. Got off the plane from that first episode, and my phone was ringing. They want you back right away. And for the last episode of season 2, and I said, okay, I'll do it. And that just kept going like that.
And now here we are.
And here we are.
Yeah, and you were first nominated for your role in it in 2012. Here we are in 2018.
I know, it's amazing that Breaking Bad, it's been such a time has passed since I was there as Gustavo in Breaking Bad. Never thought I'd return to Saul. Really loving that I have. Very different show, very slow burn, it's a smaller playing field, which allows the opportunity for such great writing that Vince Gilligan has provided. And also Bob Odenkirk is just a powerful force in this dramatic show, and also funny as well.
Yeah, he is, no doubt about it. Another one, your first screen credit is Clay Tynan in Guiding Light. Is that true? Is that your first gig?
True. Wow, you do your homework.
Well,
really was excited to do that show because I was doing plays at that time. Soap opera is like a play. I was a bad guy then as Clay Tynan.
Come on now.
Yeah, I burnt down the gym.
Clay burnt down the gym.
I burnt down the gym. Tried to lead another boy astray. Come on, let's rob the convenience store.
Light.
When he wouldn't do it, I said, let me burn the gym instead.
So was it your skills, soap opera skills, that got you on Trading Places as well?
I think it's very, very possible. You know, at that point in time, I was a little larger than life, so I had to learn how to tone it and bring it back. Of course, with Gustavo, you see that I probably succeeded in that effort. But then people need energy. People want to be around good energy, which is why, by the way, I keep coming back here, because you have such a great energy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, no, it's the truth. So when I did a film, Night on Earth, and I was sitting with Paul Auster, wonderful author, and Wayne Wang, wonderful director, we want your energy to start off this film. So very similar in Trading Places, to be a background player, but then to have enough energy level to play behind a guy like Eddie Murphy, pretty much of an honor.
Yeah, was it like on the set? Was that a fun set, or was
fun
that
set? Because you get with comedians and they're loose, man. They're not like they're actors like we. I'm like thinking, oh, I get nervous just coming here, man. Like I gotta sit and talk about myself. Oh my gosh, what am I gonna say?
Right.
But actors on set are always in their lines, or they're trying to think. And comedians are loose. They're talking like sports.
Yeah.
They're talking what's going on in the world. So it allows them a different entry point. And Eddie was just at that point in time the funniest guy you ever want to meet.
He was just red hot.
Red hot.
No, so nobody walked up to Aykroyd that day and says, "Everything all right?"
Aykroyd's fun too.
He was getting in his head for the Winthrop role.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my gosh! Thanks for coming back. Please keep coming back.
Oh, it's such a pleasure. You got a great audience. We love your audience. We love your radio audience.
Thank you.
And we love you.
Thank you. Right back at you. Giancarlo Esposito. Check him out on Better Call Saul. It is as brilliant as ever.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.